Good afternoon, YouTube. We are once again on the bike trail. This time we are north of downtown. We're going to head north of downtown. As you see, there's downtown. This school here to the right of us is new construction. All these apartments you see lined along the river here, they were all built in recent years. So there's a lot of construction, new construction here in Dayton. Especially not just housing. We have a lot of, just within a half mile of our location, there's like 5 new high-rise apartment buildings, or more if you want to include these across the river. There's been a lot of new businesses opening up in downtown Dayton. So the little city here known as Dayton, Ohio is growing slowly. However, our population isn't growing too much, but here's a better look at the school here. You probably can't see the name of the school, but it is the Greater Dayton School. And I do believe, I don't think it has opened up for a complete school year yet. This bridge you see ahead of us here, this is a footbridge that was recently built to replace the old bridge, which was probably built in the late 90s. If you see that tower ahead of you, those towers spray water out. And you'll see there's another one on the other side. But anyway, those towers spraying the water out, they eroded the bridge and made it structurally not safe. So they took the old bridge out and replaced it with this one. I think you know who them dudes are. That is Wilbur and Orville Wright. Hi. Going to be a lot of people on the trail today. It's a Saturday afternoon. It's a sunny, probably about 85 or 86 degrees. We are heading north. We're going to head north to the Dayton Wings Air Park. It's an air park for RC airplanes. I might do a video there. It depends on how much action is going on. But it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, so there's probably going to be a lot of people there flying their airplanes. So I'll probably do a video while I'm there. If there isn't too much action going on, I'll probably just ride right past it. If you watched my previous video I uploaded yesterday about the Oregon District, if you watched to the section where I showed the new mosaic and sculpture, I stated that I didn't know what the sculpture represented. It represents the 9 victims of the Dayton mass shooting of 2019. which happened nearly 5 years ago. To the right, we have some baseball fields and softball fields, which I'm surprised aren't full of people playing baseball and softball today, because it is a Saturday, but I'm sure there's a lot of games that'll be going on later on in the evening. As I mentioned in a previous video, Dayton has a small population of eagles. And a few years ago, I was in this section of the bike trail, and I saw one of the adult eagles ripping a fish to shreds. And I got a video of it on my cell phone, but you know, a camera, a cheap Android phone like I have, once you zoom in, sure, the video quality might be good, but as soon as you start zooming in on an object, you know, they get pixelized and all that. So the video didn't really turn out too well. You see, this is pretty cool little. A lot of people come fishing here. I don't know if you can see the ducks over there on that little section there, but that's where I saw the eagle. Anyway, let's get back here on the trail. I'm not too sure how many miles this particular stretch is that I'm going to ride. Probably maybe like 5 miles. Anything interesting in there? See the eagles? No. There was a guy with his camera, so he's probably anticipating some eagle action. Here ahead of us is Helena. Here is Triangle Park. here than it is. A lot of picnic shelters. People out today having picnics and birthday parties and whatnot. This is the, I don't know if you can see, or you probably can't see, the sign is too high, but this is the Gale B. Price Jr. Bridge. I'm not sure when it was built. This park that we are in, I guess is considered part of Triangle Park. Or actually, this is like Triangle Park. I think the park where the picnic tables and all that stuff is, that's Island Park. This field here is where the very first NFL football game was played. I think it was between the Dayton Triangles and the Columbus Panhandles or something like that in 1920. The NFL wanted to build a football field here to celebrate the 100 years of the NFL or whatever. They wanted to build a field here where the very first game was played, but as they probed the ground, they found that it was an ancient Indian burial ground, and so they scratched the idea of building the football field here. And so what they did is they ended up building it a little bit southeast of here, a couple miles. And the Bengals used it for one practice, and that's it. They literally built a football field for one practice. But it was the NFL's money, not the city, so I think it's kind of silly they built this football field for one practice. Not even a game, just a practice. They could have just did it at Welcome Stadium. That's where the University of Dayton plays. You know, it's already an existing football field, but they insisted on building one. We're going to go over here to the right. I'm going to show you the plaque that mentions the site of the first NFL football game. Yeah, the park we crossed where the water park was, that's Island Park. This here is Triangle Park. I know there's a plaque somewhere that mentions the Dayton Triangles. I think they took it down. Oh, here it is. You're probably not going to be able to see it too well, but that's the sign. I mean, you could probably see it, but you're not going to be able to read it. But it says on October 3rd, 1920, the first game matching two professional teams of the American Professional Football Association, a league that would become the National Football League, NFL, was held on this field within Triangle Park. In that game, the Dayton Triangles defeated the Columbus Panhandles 14-0. The Triangles Lou Partlow, the Dayton Triangles Lou Bartlow scored the first touchdown, and George Hobby Kinderdine kicked the first extra point. Three factories founded the Dayton Businessmen Award, or Edward, I'm sorry. Kicked the first. The three factories founded by Dayton businessmen Edward Dees and Charles Kettering sponsored the Dayton Triangles team. The factories were the Dayton Engineering Laboratories Company, also known as Delco, Dayton Metal Products Company, and Domestic Engineering Company, later called Delco Light. They formed an industrial triangle of plants in downtown Dayton. And there you have it. This in front of us here is a baseball field. This is Howell Field. This is the baseball field where Hall of Fame MLB baseball player Mike Schmidt played. So anyway, that's that. To the right, we have some tennis courts. this camera is not going to do this section very much justice. This camera has like really high contrast, and so it makes trees and grass kind of look like a brown, like it almost looks like fall. But I promise you, all these trees and all this grass is nice and bright green. In a few weeks I'm going to get a different camera, and I'll probably redo these particular rides, and you'll see the difference. Riding into a headwind. It's not the strongest wind, but it's consistent. Yeah, it's just enough to make you work harder. That lady jumped about 10 feet. Like, how are you outside on a public bike trail and get surprised when there's other people? Like, how did you not even notice that I've been coming up behind you for the last mile? I'm from the hood, so you got to be hard. You got to work to sneak up on me, which I wasn't sneaking, but I got the habit of looking behind me. Right here's a pretty neat little spot along the river. With a park bench. Very beautiful through here. Okay, let's continue on. When we get up here a little bit farther, hopefully, I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up on the camera, but you can see where the tornadoes damaged a lot of the trees. Just ripped the tops of the trees right off. Dayton, Ohio had a severe tornado outbreak in 2019. I can't recall the numbers, but I think there were 7 in total. There were like 5, 6, or 7 tornadoes all happened at once. Destroyed complete neat neighborhoods. You can see ahead of us there's some, well, you can see a nice house, but this street here is lined with really big, nice houses. Nice through here. You would probably never guess that we're only a couple miles north of downtown. On your left. I usually don't even tell people that I'm coming up on them because more often than not, people have earbuds in their ear. They ain't going to hear you anyway. And the way I see it is if you about step out in front of me, that's on you. You got to know your surroundings. I don't even have to look behind me. I got eyes behind my head. I'm from the hood. When you come from a neighborhood called South Park, you learn real quick to watch your back. And no, the cartoon is not based on the South Park neighborhood. The South Park cartoon is, they're supposed to be living in South Park, Colorado. That's why it's always cold. Because if they made a cartoon about my neighborhood, it wouldn't be nothing like South Park. I mean, my neighborhood is a good neighborhood now. But the 80s and 90s, it was a terrible place. To the right of us is Winsinger Garden. I like how the sign says, warning, prevent drowning, watch children at all times, wear a life jacket, in or near the water. No swimming. Standing in moving water. No inflatables. Then why are you telling me to wear a life jacket? I can't even get in the water. You would be surprised how many people a year are found floating dead in the river here. And it's more often than not, it's not even foul play. It's just, I don't know. But this is a cool little spot here. Nice and shaded. Cool down a bit. It's a hot one today. I'm sure a lot of people that are from the Midwest will tell you that it gets pretty freaking hot here in the summer. I lived in Florida for 5 years, in Tampa, and summer here is not much different than summer there. But yeah, this little spot here is pretty nice. But I know this camera is not going to do it much justice because the color tones are so wonky. Like those trees ahead of us probably look slightly brown. The grass over there probably looks a little bit brown. But I assure you it's green. It's not even deep. You could walk across that. It barely goes up to your ankles. When I was a kid, this was a good little spot to go crawdad hunting. We would normally just catch them and throw them back. But sometimes we'd use that poor little sucker as fishing bait. Like a community garden. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is one RC airplane in the air there. You probably can't see it or hear it, but there it is. Good morning. Now, why didn't that guy just go onto the left side of me where he had like 10 feet? Bikeway. To the right of us is the RC Air Park, known as Dayton Wings. I know you guys can't see it, but there's a lot of trees around here that are bare from the tornadoes. Be able to hear it now. Doubt you can see it. Might be able to see it now. Still pretty early in the afternoon. I think it's probably like 1 or maybe after 1. More people will come throughout the day to fly their airplanes. It's exactly 1. I have an excellent sense of time without a watch. Usually you can judge by the sun's location. That's something I picked up in Boy Scouts. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the foliage has started to grow back now because it's been like 5 years. But this row of trees, they were all just destroyed. Believe it or not, even in the winter, you can ride the bike trail because they actually come out and try to, they plow the snow on these bike trails. This area here got ripped up pretty good from the tornadoes. Storms is you can just tell by the rotation of the clouds, the movement of the clouds. You can tell when there's rotation. And that night that we had those tornadoes, normally I just ignore tornado warnings, but on that particular night you could just see every time the lightning would strike, it would make it look like daytime. And you could really see the rotation, and I saw multiple rotations just all over the city. Let's explore this little footpath here. We're going off into the unknown because I have never been through here. It's actually asphalt, and it looks like it. I think it just goes around the perimeter of the garden. Yeah, somebody been back here partying, smoking some weed. Anyway, at least this gives us a pretty nice little view. Empty bucket over there. Some beer bottles. I think Ohio has a beautiful landscape. Ooh, a bunny rabbit. Come here, you sucker. Give me some Cadbury eggs. Alright, let's get out of here. I've lived in like eight states, and of all those states, I've lived in some places. Two of the places is some of the most popular. I've lived in Florida and I've lived in New York City. But of all the places I've lived, my favorite place would probably be Pocatello, Idaho. It's a little city nestled in the mountains. It's a great place for a fella like myself that likes to get out and go bike riding. And I'd say my second choice would be Asheville, North Carolina. And not just for the scenery, but the people. Everybody smiles and waves. Well, that's that. I'm not even sure where this need more. Frederick Pike. Okay, well, we're going to go this way. I think it ends somewhere not that far away, and then it picks back up. I think you can take this trail all the way to Troy, Ohio. But we aren't going to do that. At least not today. At least there is a little bit of a breeze today, because without that breeze it would be a scorcher out here. I'm kind of stubborn. I've had 2 heat strokes, but I still get out here in the heat. I had a heat stroke in 1999 and 2016. This is Frederick Pike. Alright, we're going to go back the other way. I'm going to cut the camera off when I get back to the Dayton Wings Air Park. I might make a video while I'm there. Yeah, the heat don't bother me too bad if I'm on the bike pedaling and I got some wind blowing on me. But as soon as I stop the bike, my body temperature goes up pretty rapidly. When I get home, I go straight and run some cold bath water and jump in it. By the time I get home, my body temperature will be so high. When I go home and I jump in that cold water, even when I get out of that cold water, I'll still be sweating. It takes me, on a day like today, when I get home, it'll take me about 2 hours just to cool down. That's after jumping in a cold bath for about 30 minutes and sitting in front of an air conditioner. It still takes several hours for my body temperature to get back to a normal, healthy temperature. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's hereditary. My brother had a heat stroke. When I had my first heat stroke, I was 21 years old. In 2016, I don't know if I had a heat stroke or I just had heat exhaustion, but I passed out. And yeah, anyway, that's the story for another day. I don't know why this car's driving down the street here, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed our ride here. Maybe I'll do a video here watching some of the RC airplanes and upload it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the ride here. I hope everybody in YouTube land has a good day and a good weekend. Have a good one.